Madam President, thank you very much. Today, in fact, just a few hours, a few minutes from now, the Senate will act on an effort to protect farmers, ranchers, and producers from the unnecessary consequences of the listing of the lesser prairie chicken. Even as I say the words, it brings back so many instances in which we've had this conversation on the Senate floor, going back to my earliest days in the Senate. This issue has been with us now for a long number of years. Range-wide studies over the last decade have shown that conservation efforts are helping bird populations in the 5 habitat states, including Kansas. So the lesser prairie chicken is a native bird to 5 states in our part of the country, and its populations are important to us in Kansas and to those other states and to the country. But what strikes me is that this administration claims that American agriculture is at the heart of needing to list the lesser prairie chicken as either an endangered species or a threatened species because agriculture is causing harm to the populations. A quote from the rules state, quote, "Grazing by domestic livestock is not inherently detrimental to lesser prairie chicken management and in many cases is needed to maintain appropriate vegetative structure." A pretty good paragraph to indicate the value of production agriculture when it comes to the well-being of the lesser prairie chicken. In other words, what that's saying is that agricultural management practices and voluntary conservation practices of grasslands, including grazing by ranchers, improve the habitat. Listing the bird as a threatened and endangered species is not the answer. Plain and simple, we need more rainfall. We need moisture in Kansas and other states in the West. We need more rainfall, not more regulations. I conclude here by saying that farmers and ranchers have always been and will always be the original conservationists. Their livelihood depends upon the continued conservation efforts of the soil and the water they use to produce crops and raise livestock. I am confident there are ways to conserve the species without hindering economic opportunity in rural communities, and I will continue to push for what Kansans have been pursuing for years now, voluntary solutions. Madam President, I yield the floor.